going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. I am Sam, that is Mike, and today we'll be breaking down the top 100 rankings, of course, done by NFL Network. If you don't know what that is, just look it up. It's a top 100 players list voted on specifically by players, and they do a thing about it every year. It's it's a mini event for NFL fans, and we'll be breaking down where the Seahawks ranked, and maybe some Seahawks who did not rank.
Yeah.
So we'll be breaking that down.
Yeah. And kind of saying, are they too high? Are they too low?
Low. Who should have been on the list?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So
the
I
Seahawks,
say we just.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Rio.
No, you were going, man. You go ahead. You finish.
No, I mean, but I think the Seahawks were in the upper echelon of players per team. I don't know the exact numbers, but I have to imagine that we're up there, right?
Well, we had 7. If you count KJ Wright, we had 7.
If you count KJ Wright, we had 7.
So minimum, we had 6.
Actively under contract, we have 6.
That's got to be top 2 or 3 in the league.
It has to be top 5. I mean, because
that's minimum.
Because that's what math in my head. I can't do percentages in my head, but
that's got to be
out of all the players. That's about that. We have 6. I don't know why I'm so stupid. I'm dividing from 100. 6% of the entire list.
Yeah.
6%. That's a lot.
And there's 32 teams. 7% if you count KJ. So
yeah. So that's a lot.
Yeah. So
that's a lot.
We're just kind of just gonna go through the list, the rankings, say if they're too high, too low, anybody who should have been on. So just kind of going through the rankings. The lowest rated Seahawk was Quandre Diggs at 77. I'll get your opinion on this, Sam. I think that's a pretty good spot for him. I wasn't expecting him to make the list just because I felt like he's pretty underrated. But if I said where he should have been was probably around the 80 range. So 77 might be a bit generous, but I think that 77 is a good spot for Quandre. I don't think it's really offensive one way or the other. I think that was a pretty good spot for him to be.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect little area for him to be at. He great safety, gets a lot of picks, ball hawk. But it's nice to see him finally getting some respect, and I feel like you said, that's a really nice even spot for him. So
yeah.
I mean, literally the next player on the list was Tyler Lockett, who's 76.
Yep.
This seems a little low to me.
Yeah.
He had 100 receptions and 1,000 yards last year. I think he's had 1,000 yards for the last 3 seasons.
Right.
So I think that's pretty exclusive territory. I don't know.
I think what really worked against him, and obviously this isn't his fault, but I think the popularity of DK.
Yeah, DK's like a kind of, he's becoming a face of the league.
Right.
Whether you like it or not.
Being that Tyler is no longer the guy, I think in Seattle, not that he's not great still, he's obviously still great, but DK is in the up and comer. He's the young guy. He's the freak athlete. So I think Tyler Lockett has just gone down a peg in terms of everybody else's eyes, just because they're seeing DK in the wide receiver room and he seems a little less impressive but still 76 is very good. I don't think it's criminally underrated. I would have put him a little higher. I probably would have put him
I think he should be the 60s.
Yeah,
right? Somewhere in the 60s or 50s. I mean, it's kind of tough to call him underrated, especially when he just got paid $17.5 million a year.
Right.
But, it seems a tad low to me. So that's kind of where I stand.
What we should do is we should grade where we think how they were ranked. So I think
for Quandre, I'd say
A.
Just a flat A. I mean, you can't give it an A- because it seems like a pretty good range, but you can't give him an A+ because it's such a good little area for him.
Yeah.
That he can't really you can't really grade that. For Tyler, I'd give a B.
Yeah.
I think you had plenty of room to move him up a little bit, but I don't know. We're kind of talking like it's up to the NFL. It's really not. It's up to the players. So, right. I mean, it's not like we can just call a writer and be like, hey, you had Tyler Lockett too low. It's like the players vote on it and they just kind of average everything out. So,
yeah. So I would say probably a B. Also, keep in mind, you mentioned it with the players, voting. It is a bit of a popularity contest, and DK is insanely more popular right now than Tyler Lockett. So maybe that worked against him. I don't know. I'm not one to speculate. But just kind of as a little bonus here, at 67, we had former and hopefully soon to be current Seahawk, KJ Wright, honestly, I love KJ. I thought 67 was a little high for him. I
I
think
think it's a little high because we're so used to not seeing him be respected as much as other players.
yeah,
I think this is a really good spot for him because I mean, they showed the highlights and I just thought to myself like, man, why does KJ's best season have to be his last season for this?
yeah, yeah.
Like that
100%.
like that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt, honestly. It really did. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I just
it's
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, I like where KJ is. I like that he's finally getting respect. It's his first time ever being on the list.
that's crazy. That's
That's
crazy.
criminal. It's
I've
criminal.
said I say he's overrated on this list specifically, but in general, criminally underrated.
In general, he's pretty underrated. I like seeing KJ get love. I think he like 60s to 70s is a pretty good range for him. That's kind of my thoughts. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about it because he's currently not a Seahawk and will likely not be a Seahawk
right
when the season starts. So
I probably would have put him right in that Quandre range right there at 80 is what I would have said. But obviously, I'm not going to complain at a high ranking for my man KJ Wright.
Yeah, the love is still there.
Yeah, obviously. So now we jump about 36 spots.
Yeah, we jump. There was a wide gap where there was.
I was getting nervous for a second because we had Quandre right there, we had Tyler, we had KJ, and then it was like a steep jump, and I was starting to get worried that some of these guys would make the list. But thankfully, the NFL players got it right. At 31, I believe the second highest ranked safety.
Second, behind Budda Baker.
Budda
Baker was about 19.
Budda Baker was 19. Jamal was 31. So suck it, Steelers fans. Suck it, Chiefs fans. You guys
Bengals
suck.
fans.
Bengals fans, Broncos fans.
Etc.
You were right. Jamal
your
Betta.
Player is worse than Prez himself, Jamal Adams. And I think, and to this day, I think that Jamal's better than Budda.
Yeah, me too.
Budda's a good player.
But
I'm not here to start.
But beef. I think Budda had a better season. I think Budda had a better season because Jamal was hurt.
But I mean, at the same time, Jamal kind of broke the single season record for sacks by a DB.
No, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. But is it fair to say that Budda had a better season just because he was healthier?
I say they're pretty comparable.
I would say so too.
Budda did more in coverage. Jamal was like a game changer at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Like he had tackles. Jamal had like more tackles for loss, more sacks.
I think it's
Budda,
also fair
I think had more pass deflections and kind of played back more than Jamal did. So
I think it's fair to say if Jamal played a whole season, he would probably be higher than Budda.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I think the players they kind of just rank him where he is. I think in the intro I saw a player rank him at like 10. It was probably like DK Metcalf. Like because at the intro they showed like players filling out their ballots and you could totally tell what team it is because like I think one team had like Aaron Rodgers 1, Devontae Adams 2, just like going down the
list. There's a team that had like Quentin. There was a team that had like Quentin Nelson, Jonathan Taylor, T.Y. Hilton, like in the top 10. I was like, bro, I wonder who filled out this list. Yeah,
it's
the Colts.
I don't know. It's kind of Mike. It might be a tough call. But speaking of Colts real fast, as an O lineman myself, when I play football, I'm an O lineman. The disrespect is frankly unreal. The fact that Quentin Nelson was the highest rated O lineman on the list, and he was like 35. Is criminal because I mean, there's no way that he's the 35th best player.
He's the best player at like the least popular position. It's like being the best like second baseman in baseball. Like nobody cares to be the best second baseman. Yeah, everybody wants a shortstop, pitcher.
Yeah, everyone wants a shortstop, outfielder. They want they want the big guys. They don't want.
But then there's just that like 5'8" guy at second base hitting 320 and he just gets no love. That's
hell. It's more like being like the best player at like pinch running in the MLB. Like nobody cares, It's like nobody gives a damn. But like
but if they get tagged out or if you miss a block and your quarterback gets sacked, everybody cares. So.
Everybody cares except when you steal 15 bases when you're on base 20 times in a season. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, where the hell's my love? But listen, I just a little tangent there. Quentin Nelson and all the offensive linemen. Heavily underrated.
As a quarterback, I can attest offensive linemen need more love. 100%.
We need justice.
We need justice for offensive linemen.
But, I mean, Jamal had a good year. And, he's...
Last season, I believe he was ranked 27, I think they said. So
27. So it's not a fall Fall off.
Fall off.
Boy,
That's the word you would
not
look
being
for.
to school in a couple months has just damaged me.
Woo!
But I can't find out a percentage out of 100, and now I'm just like,
Man,
and now I can't speak. But all right,
just to get
Jamal,
evaluated here.
this one was pretty criminal to me. Bobby Wagner, 25.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to see one person look me dead in the eyes and tell me that Bobby Wagner is the 25th best player in football. It doesn't really make sense to me. Bobby Wagner, it's like Pro Football Focus wise, which I said on Twitter today, at Lockdown Trey, if you don't follow me already. But
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But listen, right? I said on Twitter today that PFF is a great way to back up your argument. It's not a great way to judge a player. When I use my argument of Bobby Wagner is the best player in football, is the best linebacker in football, and 49ers say, well, what's proving that? And then I pull up the Pro Football Focus grade and I say, well, he was great in coverage. He was living in the backfield. He does everything.
Yeah.
And then they go, no, it's Pro Football Focus. I can kind of understand, but at the same time, you know, Bobby Wagner is the best linebacker in football to me.
Period.
And
discussion.
Even if he's not, I have no way of believing that he is the 25th best player in the NFL.
Really quick, couple notes. I thought that Jamal was fairly placed. I'd say that's probably like a high B, low A, just to get that out of the way.
Yeah, high B, low A. It's
the other thing about this list, getting on the subject of Bobby, I thought the linebackers were the most weirdly ranked group. Like, I thought the linebacker, like, okay, Roquan Smith wasn't on the list.
Yeah, Roquan Smith is good.
Roquan Smith is really good. And the fact that he wasn't on the list, KJ Wright, in my opinion, was a little high. Eric Hendricks was a little low. Fred Warner was really high. And Bobby Wagner being at 25. You know, say, oh, 25 is really good. 25 is really good for most players, but for a guy who's continually, year in and year out, the best middle linebacker in the game of football, like the 2010s, it was Kuechly and Bobby Wagner. You know, it was one of those guys. Kuechly retired. It's been Bobby. And I seem like a homer because I'm wearing the jersey right now. But it's Bobby, 1,000%.
Yeah.
25 feels very disrespectful to me. I would probably give it.
It feels like it because it is. I mean, Bobby Wagner, like I said, even if he's not the best linebacker in football, the fact that you can still say that he's the 25th best player in football, even if he's not the best, is still criminal. It's still criminal. So it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't add up. But
yeah, no, it doesn't add up.
You know what? We're just gonna roll with it. I'd give it like a C, maybe a high C, maybe. I mean,
I'd give it a high C.
Well, first off, like looking at this list, the first linebacker on the entire list is Eric Kendricks at 70.
Yeah, it just seems weird to me. I don't know.
And that's low. Eric Kendricks is arguably like the third, fourth best linebacker in football.
Beast.
He's behind KJ Wright.
And not to just shit on KJ. I love KJ.
If anybody loves KJ, it's me. I'm a KJ stan.
Would you say that Eric Kendricks is better than KJ Wright?
No. And then the weird thing is Demario Davis was above both of them at 64.
That I don't understand that one.
Demario Davis is a good player. He is a top 10 player in football. I mean, a top 100 player in football.
64
but when you say he's better than Eric Kendricks, I can't side with that. I can't. No. I just can't side with it. I mean, I'm just quickly kind of scrolling down this list because the NFL makes it insanely hard to find players. I mean, Levante David was 43.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he was 43. I mean, that's good. He's probably like the fifth best middle linebacker in the game. I don't think he's better than Eric Kendricks.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Well,
yeah, it's weird. I mean, Darius Leonard was 37. And then you know who was above Darius Leonard, Mike?
Who was above Darius Leonard, Sam?
Devin White. Sure, Devin White is great. He's great. He's awesome. He's a great linebacker. They said that Devin White is third best linebacker in the game. I mean, over under 50. How many spots does he fall if he's not on the Bucks Super Bowl team?
10, minimum 10.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All right, but listen. Moving on. Our next player on the list was number 22, DK Metcalf, who jumped up a ridiculous 59 spots, which is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of spots. Is that the highest jump on the entire list?
For people who did make it, I would say probably, yeah.
I mean, Levante David was 100th last year, and he jumped up a lot, but I don't think he jumped up.
What was Levante David at?
Levante David jumped up 57. Not as much. I mean, hey.
So
I don't know.
I think DK at 22 is fine. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. Some people have been saying he's a little high, and I could see that.
Yeah, but I mean, you could make a fair argument.
But I think also you have to consider the fact that he literally broke the record for the single season receiving yards for the Seahawks.
And people forget that he had like 1,300 yards.
Yeah.
On 80 receptions and 10 touchdowns, which is great.
And the play against the Vikings, pretty much walk-off touchdown right there. That was awesome. I was shitting in my pants that whole game that we were going to win. But he made plays, and he's so hard to defend, with the exception of probably Jalen Ramsey. He beat every corner in a 1v1 situation that he was in.
Listen, DK Metcalf, I think, has taken over way more games than most other receivers have. Like, name a receiver, like DK had 3-4 games where he just took over, like 10 catches for 150 plus yards. Like, he had the 49ers first game.
Yes.
The first 49ers game.
The Eagles game.
He had the Patriots game.
Yep.
He had the Eagles game.
Yep.
He had, oh my God, why am I blanking?
The Vikings game. The
Vikings game, he had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's that's taking over.
To be fair, in the playoff game, he scored 2 touchdowns also.
In the playoff game, he scored 2 touchdowns versus the Eagles in the playoffs the year before last year. He had,
I think that was
it was the most receiving yards by a single rookie in a playoff game.
And what's so funny is he had more receiving yards in that game than the guy that the Eagles drafted before him in the whole season.
Yeah, I think DK's had more yards in that one game than he has in his whole career so far.
That's
JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Yeah, no, I don't have a problem. DK is the 5th ranked receiver because Tyreek and D-Hop are still in the top 10.
Above him, no, Tyreek went off.
Tyreek was off. Yeah, Tyreek was off.
Tyreek, Stephon Diggs,
D-Hop.
Those are the guys who have already been on the list. And there's D-Hop and Devontae Adams left.
So he's 5. So he's top 5 receiver.
I guess. I
get shit when I call him a top 10. But the NFL players ranked him top 5. But I get shit.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna fact check this.
Okay, you go ahead.
So he was 22.
Yeah.
Come on, NFL.com, please work.
The website is bad. I'll just be straight up. The NFL website.
First off, he was behind Deshaun Watson. What kind of message is that sending to the kids? NFL Network.
That was such a weird video. That was such a weird video.
It was so ominous.
It was like, bro,
it was like dead silent. And by the way, I just found out that DK Metcalf was not the highest jump. He was the second highest. Because Myles Garrett jumped 74 spots. Last year, he was 80.
Damn.
I know he kind of hit a dude over the head with a helmet.
That was last year.
But that doesn't matter. But still, I don't give a damn if he shoots somebody. I mean, it doesn't affect how good of a baseball player he is. I mean, football player he is. But listen,
you literally just contradict yourself because you're like, I don't care what kind of message I send with the kids with Deshaun Watson, and you're like, I don't care. I don't
care. Hey, what kind of message?
Oh,
is that?
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen. It's okay. Listen, it's not a big deal. Mike, you don't have to point out my flaws. All right.
You do it all the time.
No, I don't. You always do this, Mike. You always do this.
Sorry. We're having
I'm joking.
Marital issues. Sorry,
yeah, no, we're playing. But yeah. Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill were above him. And then there's DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams.
Top
Am I
five.
missing? Am I missing anybody?
No.
Hang on. I know the NFL had a tweet about it, and they said like, "Oh, these players are the top 5 players in the NFL." But I have to find it.
It could really only be D-Hop and Devontae, right? Those would be the only guys that it would be.
I think. I mean that's the only player that comes to mind.
So while you're doing that,
Yeah. So while we're doing that, we'll talk about maybe the most disrespectful one on the entire list.
Russell Wilson was ranked number 12, and granted, being number 12 is very, very good. Like that's
kind of fitting. I mean, he is a Seahawk to be 12th,
but at the same time, he was number 2 last season, and he had a better season this year. Am I saying he's the second best player in football? Maybe. I think he's top 5 for sure.
He could earn it.
Let's just knock a couple off. Mahomes, Aaron Donald, Aaron Rodgers, and then who? And then who? Realistically, maybe Josh Allen had a better year last year. Okay.
Josh Allen had a better year. I don't think that he's better than Russell Wilson because he had one good season.
Right, but it's like it's 2021 list, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
Russell Wilson threw 40 touchdowns, 13 picks, 4,300 yards, I believe.
Yeah,
was literally the MVP for half the year. And people say he was bad in the second half. No, he wasn't bad. He just wasn't as good. So 12 to me is just completely disrespectful.
Okay. So last year, I mean, not last year. I'm sorry to jump in real fast. Top 10 players in the NFL, according to Top 100. Let's just say if we quickly agree with these or not. Devontae Adams, yes, he's a top 10 player in the NFL. I mean,
yes.
It's kind of easy to see.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I feel like Russ is better. I think that you could have swapped places with Russ and Josh Allen. Tom Brady, yeah, I mean, it's Tom Brady.
It's Brady. He's
Aaron Donald. I don't know. I think Aaron Donald's wildly overrated. I don't even think he's top 100.
Stop. You can't even joke about that, bro.
Aaron Donald is the best player
in the sport
in the world. He's the best player in the world. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins.
He had 2K yards. Yeah. D-Hop. Yeah. Stephon's 11. Never mind.
Travis Kelce is how you pronounce it. Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce.
Great player, but he's tight. I don't know.
I don't know. And then Patrick Mafrod, no comment.
Yeah, Patrick Mafrod, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, no comment. And then TJ Watt, the better brother.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the better brother. Yeah, I mean, sure. So, but anyways, they said DK Metcalf is the 5th best receiver in football. No comment.
I'm just saying
no comment.
The whole offseason we've been saying DK top 10. No, DK's not top 10. And then NFL players are like, yeah, he's top 5 actually. Top 5.
Yeah, he's not top 10. He's top 5.
And then
no comment. And we're gonna kind of have to.
That's the player. Really quick, sorry to cut you off. That's the player where it was like where there was such a steep decline. I was like, oh my God, they're not going to put DK on the list, are they? Like I was expecting to see him. I thought he was going to be in like the 40s or 30s. So the 40s and 30s happened, and I'm like, oh my God, he's not there. He's not there. 22. Okay. And I'm seeing all these receivers go off the board. I'm like, all right, whatever. 22. That was a good ranking for him.
And by the way, did you see DK on Twitter? He was like, the disrespect is noted. I love the disrespect.
I think he was talking about Russ. I think he was talking about either Russ or people like saying he's overrated or shit like that. Because there's a lot of dude.
I was like,
my favorite part. No, really. Last thing I'm gonna say. My favorite part of the list was in Russell Wilson's video when they were like, "Hey DK, what was Russell Wilson's best play?" He's like, "When he threw it and it hit me in the face." And then there was the one where it hit him right in the face. I was like, bro, thank God that like Russ was ranked higher, because if DK was after that, it would be so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, and we lost that game, so it's like we lost that game when we went to overtime. So, but no, DK's still 20. He's still top 5. Don't get me wrong. He's still top 5.
Still top 5. All right, listen, that's gonna wrap it up. I mean, your thoughts on the top 100 in the comments below, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.